Charlie Dent and Republican strategist Alice Stewart, both CNN political commentators as well. Thanks, both of you, for being with us. So, Alice, despite those numbers in the last few weeks, there are clearly no signs that senators and the grassroots are ready to really leave Trump. Only about 5% of the House and 14% of the Senate Republicans voted to impeach or to convict him. Meanwhile, the Washington Post is reporting that state and local committees, GOP committees, are attacking any Republicans who dare to turn on Trump. We've seen that even as recently as yesterday. But in your view, has Trump actually shrunk the Republican Party, limiting its appeal beyond the base?
I think we're seeing evidence of that based on the fact that in his leadership as president, we lost the House, we lost the Senate, and obviously lost the White House. But I think the key is for people not to just simply look at Trump's base and Trump's following as a cult of personality. We have to look at what he did. He was able to change what has happened for years in the GOP, where we've had the donor class and the wealthy class and the party leaders really for years have just given lip service to the voting class. And what Donald Trump did is he listened to the voters in the Republican Party and followed through with the policies that they wanted, that were important to them. Instead of just pacifying them in the election, he followed through when he was in office. And that is the key moving forward. And I think he will still have a disproportionate role in politics if he wants to, but that will wane over time because we'll have other voices come forward and say, we need someone that will connect with him on the policies, but do so in a more Reagan-like tone and tenor.
But Alice, I have to say, is it really about the policies or is it about the personality? Because it seems very much that Trump supporters, they care more about the man than they do about fiscal conservatism, whatever it is that Republicans have historically supported.
Well, for a lot of people, it is about the man, but for most people, it's about the policies. And the only way we're going to continue to grow the numbers and move forward and take back the House in 2022, which should be priority number one for Republicans, is if we get back to the policies that are the foundation of the Republican Party. So many people are looking ahead to 2024. We have a short-term goal that we need to accomplish. I'm encouraged to hear that Lindsey Graham has a plan to meet with the former president and say, look, you need to stop your revenge tour and have your band of brothers go out there and simply run against and primary everyone who's done or said anything against you. We need to work together as a party. And I think Republicans have learned their lesson, having no control right now in Washington, that we need to do it by focusing on the policies over personality.
Charlie, this week, former Ambassador Nikki Haley, and a presidential hopeful in 2024 herself, tried to distance herself from Trump. And she said in an interview that we need to acknowledge that he let us down. He went down a path he shouldn't have, and we shouldn't have followed him, and we shouldn't have listened to him, and we can't let that ever happen again. But a few weeks ago, here's what she also said to Fox News.
It's funny for everyone trying to determine where the party goes. We should not want to go back to the Republican Party before Trump. We gained a lot of people that were unheard, unseen, many of whom, like I grew up in South Carolina, had just been misunderstood. We want to keep them in the party.
Charlie, she seems a little confused about where she wants to be on this issue, but is it a reflection of just the uncertainty among Republicans right now about how to move forward?
No question that Nikki Haley seems to be conflicted about where the party should go. I'm glad that belatedly she has come around and has acknowledged what many of us have been stating for some time, that we are tired of the cronyism, the nihilism, the nativism, and those who are advocating this instability. And, I think going forward, a lot of us don't want this party to be led by those who are handmaidens to the big lie and to the insurrection. This party cannot be about instability and insurrection. We need to get back to a center-right agenda. And I think this is much bigger than policy at the moment. Our objective now is to clean up the Republican Party and make it something that we can be proud of again. But right now, we're in a very bad spot. How do you have a party when you have, Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and Mitt Romney and Pat Toomey, and then you got the Marjorie Taylor Greene wing, and these who are advocating these QAnon conspiracy theories and other types of radical extremists who showed up at the insurrection on January 6th.
Charlie, you on that point, quickly before we go, you've been in some conversations this week about a potential third party, a new Republican Party, effectively. But the concern, I think, from some Republicans will be, wouldn't that just make it harder for Republicans to win? You're siphoning votes away from the GOP for this third party effort?
Well, let me be very clear. We were part of a conversation that talked about a new direction. Everybody agreed. I was of the opinion we need to create a new center-right initiative on our own within the GOP, or perhaps outside the GOP. Some very much want a new party. So some of us are talking about this wing that would be that is going to try to force the GOP to a better place. We're not going to be taken for granted. So if there's going to be a race between, say, Mark Kelly and Kelly Ward in Arizona, a lot of our folks are going to say, you know what, we're going to be part of the Mark Kelly team in that case. So really, right now, it's about what type of party we want to be going forward. I'm not advocating third party, but I think we need a new direction, and we think we can do this within the GOP or perhaps independent of it. But it's up to the party right now.
Well,
where they
thank
wanna
you.
go.
Thanks, Charlie and Alice Stewart, both of you. Appreciate you being with us today.